Yes, I'm sorry, my other podcast has gone off. So please, guys, join. I want us to discuss this AU seat for Mr. Raila Odinga. It's unfortunate that my stream has gone away. So, guys, join so that we can discuss. So, as you are aware, Mr. Raila Odinga want to become the next AU chairperson in AU. Uh, it's a prestigious seat. It's a lobbied seat. You have to lobby for it, and that is why it is important to really be positive about it. It is usually a seat for previous politicians in African countries, but you have to extremely lobby for it. So my live stream just ended, and I have decided to redo it again because I got a hit which has made me to delete the first feed. So bear with me about that. So, Fanny's and all the others who had joined me, you are free to come again. So, let me begin by sharing the previous office holders. So, there is the previous AU chairpersons, previous or former AU chairpersons. I think it is commission, the AU chairperson commission. Yes. So we can see here, I can share this. Let's know the previous from the African Union page. The chairperson of the African Commission is the chief executive CEO. These are the roles. You can see them. Assuming overall responsibility for the Commission's administration and finances, undertaking actions aimed at promoting and popularizing the AU, facilitating the functioning, decision making, and reporting of all AU organ meetings, consulting and coordinating with member state governments, okay, preparing with the PRC and AU budget and strategic planning documents, acting as a depository for all AU and OAU treaties and legal instruments, appointing and managing commission staff. Wow, a lot of work. Yeah, guys join so that we can discuss about this AU commission and what is happening now. So these are the previous office holders. There is Musa Faki from Chand, and I think I had given their ages when they joined. I had given their ages when they joined. So maybe I can share that page again. Yeah, previous AU Commission, former AU Commission chairperson. Okay, good. So let me share this so you can see this the listing for the purpose of our discussions today. So let's sharing this, and I bring another one, big one. Good. Yes, this is the incumbent. Incumbent is the one who is there. He's called a Musa Faki. Then these are the previous ones. So I had just gone through the biography of each one of them. Let me start with the current one, and we go climbing. So that is Musa Faki. He is a previous foreign affairs minister from Chad. He is also a Muslim. Okay. Then from there, we have, and for the Musa Faki, and already calculated his age, 57 years, because he was born 1960. the time when he was joining. Then there is the Zuma. Zuma was Minister for Women and some other ministries also she served previously under Sisi Ramaphosa. Good. She joined at age 63. That one I had calculated. So Zuma joined at age 33. We have Jinping, who has a credible record also. Jinping was actually the president of United Nations General Assembly, a prestigious position. He is 81 years old now. When he was joining, because he was born 1942, 3 years old, 3 years older than Raila Odinga. So when he was joining, we said because he started at 2008, he was around 66 years. Yeah, he joined at 66 years. So then there was Alpha Conare. This Alpha Conare, he is the former president of Mali. He served Mali for 10 years. I think even became the president at a very young age, because I can see Conare was born 46. So you are born 46, you become a president at 92. So he became president 46 years old. When he was 46 years old, quite young. I think it was like the same age, almost close to the same age. I think West Africa, they like young people, because even this fire of Ivory Coast, I think he has become a president at 43 years old. Yeah, in Kenya, we have not done that. So then from there, after his tenure, when he was around 52 years old, he became the chairperson and served for 5 years. That was a real breakthrough from being president, now the chairman. So you can see it's actually first office holder was a previous president. So it's a prestigious position. It's a prestigious position. If some president can do that. Then there was the acting guy from Ivory Coast, and then when you look at all these people, the first two are from West Africa. Second one is from Central Africa, Gabon. There is Southern Africa, and there is Central Africa. So I can see from this, West Africa 2 times, Central Africa 2 times, Southern Africa 2 times. So, and there have been a lot of talks that East Africa has not tasted this. I think East Africa and North Africa. So let's not be very categorical about it's only East Africa which has not tasted this thing. So East Africa and North Africa has not tasted this thing. But I don't know the reason why I'm not seeing Northerners, North Africa, even if the majority of them are Arabs. They don't seem interested with this seat. I don't know why Northerners do not seem interested with this seat. So it's something we need to understand. Okay. Let's go to the guys who want it. So, interested candidates for AU Commission chairperson. Let's read about all of them so that we can understand it. Good. Now, these are the interested people. These are the people who are interested. Oh, it's actually there. These are the interested people. Okay. These are the interested people. Interested people for the commission. For the commission. I don't know why the first one doesn't seem to have a picture. So the first one interested is called Anil Gayan. He is former foreign minister, Mauritius. So Anil Gayan, can we know his age? So Anil Gayan, he was born. I think Anil Gayan looks like an Indian. Yeah, of course, Mauritius people. We usually have it's a mixed race country whereby there are so many people. Born 1948. So 1948, We are in 2024. That one is 52 plus 24. We are talking of 76 years old. So Anil Gayan, 76 years old. Previous record, he has been the foreign minister in Mauritius from 1983. That is quite long. He became so until 1986, and from 2000 until when there was a cabinet. He served in the cabinet until 2003. So that means 20 years. Then in 2009, he formed a new group called Front National Mauritian. Gayan was defeated at the constituency number 8. So he tried politics and he did not succeed. Then from there, he went to legal practice. Then from there are some controversies. When he was the head of cardiac center. So those are some controversies which he having. So I have not heard of him much. From there, we have this Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, with the foreign minister from Djibouti. And they are, in fact, the area one I was talking about, he doesn't have any endorsements. So Mahmoud Ali Yusuf has been endorsed by Islamic Cooperation. Wow. We will have to go to the Islamic Cooperation so that we know how many Islamic Cooperation countries are there. Because maybe it could be, maybe Northern Africa, all those people, they could be wanting it. But we should also remember that the outgoing one is also an Islamic, is a Muslim. So I hope even that one will play. We have that oscillation, at least if I was there. Although character and the quality of the candidate matters. I don't want to go to this categorization of people. So the one who is serving now, he is a Muslim. So I would ask, maybe they could consider Christian this time round. Okay, so there is Mahmoud Ali, who is the foreign minister from 205 Djibouti. So let's see this Islamic Cooperation. So this Islamic Cooperation, as you can see in the map here, all the member states. So he is a force. So let me zoom here. So all the countries in green are all the Islamic Cooperation. In Islamic Cooperation, you can see Saudi Arabia here, all the Middle East here. But now, we are concentrating with Africa. So if you see Africa, there's Somalia here. There is another country here. There is another one here. Down, this one looks like Mozambique. Wow. But anyway, you can see that all. So this guy is a threat. Yeah, this guy is a threat. Northern Africa and West Africa is a threat. Because now, even if West Africa is not eligible to vie, they could take their support to this Djibouti guy. And Djibouti is East Africa also. This guy is a threat. So this guy is a threat. Okay, the enigma, the next candidate, Raila Amolo Odinga. Everyone knows Odinga. 5 presidential campaigns, unsuccessful one. He has worked in the AU in the infrastructure department, and he is a former prime minister in Kenya, and he has also served in cabinet. So there is a lot. So endorsements. Wow, there are also some countries from North Africa which have endorsed him. I can say Algeria has endorsed him. East African community. So when we talk of East African community, does it mean that anyway, Raila Odinga is having serious endorsements? Wow, he looks like the most endorsed one. He is the most endorsed one, but this Islamic Cooperation, it's one, but it's congested. It has many member countries. Then there is this other guy from Madagascar, Richard Radiamadaptro, former foreign minister. He has only one endorsement. I think that is not a serious candidate. So let's say competition is between Ali and Mr. Raila Odinga. We also have guys who have withdrawn. So if you have withdrawn, there's no need of considering you. He was former deputy prime minister, former vice president. Oh wow, the big post. So hata Gachagua anaweza taka, akitaka anaweza enda. Potential candidates. Madagascar seems to be regional group East Africa. Yeah. So you can see Madagascar is the East Africa and potential. They are potential. It doesn't mean that. So all these are potential. January Makaba, former foreign minister, 22-24. Then there is Mohamed El Amin Soef. That is from Comoros. Even Uhuru Kenyatta. Potential. Wow, wow, wow. So let's see the age of these guys. I'm sorry. Let's see the ages of this guy. Let's see if, because you know age is also a factor. Let's see Yusuf, his age. Yusuf is born 1965. 1965, 59 years. Raila Odinga, we know. Raila Odinga is 79, 80 years by the time he is assuming office, he will be elected. Let's see this Richard. Richard, no biography, so he must not be a serious candidate. So I had asked a very serious question. Why is it that in politics, retirement is not a very serious issue of a talk? Like in politics, this elected post, you can even work post 80 years. While many of us, we are being told to retire 55, 60 years. Does it mean that politics is an eternal job? Yeah. For me, my take with this position, I feel it is better for East Africa to field somebody who will work for like 7 years before he retires, or somebody who can work for a lengthy term. Because when we lose this position, it will have to go to another region of bloc. That's why you are seeing there is a lot of competition from East Africa, because East Africa people have been given that priority. So, for me, I would advise East Africans to present somebody who has capacity to work for 7 years. So, in comments, I want people to tell me, is Raila Odinga capable to work for 7 years in that position without wading away? It's something we need to ask ourselves honestly. He has experienced, he has done a lot in Kenya. I somehow have not been able to fully identify with his political ideologies because of him getting tired while he is fighting the government. I want people who stand on one position. You fight until you win. You fight until you win. So I don't think that element of giving up and wanting to join the government. So that is one of his weaknesses, actually, which has made him not to rescue people properly. Actually, Mr. Raila Odinga could have been one of the most consequential leaders in Kenya if he totally stood on his ground. But I don't know why he decided all the time to be joining the government and somehow abandoning people at the time of big day resolution. So he has decided, he has been convinced by Mr. William Ruto to go for this position and some other friends of him, with a view that Mr. Ruto, I think he wants to withdraw some severe competition from Kenya. We don't know. It is a secret ballot, and either of the two candidates, anyone can win because they are from East Africa. And you can see this guy from Djibouti, ages on his side. He is fresh, he is experienced also, and he can work for even 10 years before he loses strength. So the advice which I could have given Kenya, I wish Kenya fielded a little bit a more younger candidate. I don't know if they feared if they don't present somebody with very heavy credentials, that person could lose, and they rather present Enigma who is known to everyone, so that there can be a potential of a clean sweep for him. So that's also another thing which we need to ask. But even as we discuss this issue, the big question which we need to ask ourselves this morning is the seat consequential for Kenya? Is the seat consequential for Mr. Raila Odinga? To me, I think this seat will end his political career in Kenya. That if he will be able to win it. And I don't know how his look of opposition political party, is a political party will look from there moving forward. So as a person, I don't think there is any credential you'll be building here. And I don't know, because I'm even trying to look for Musa Faki, the current guy. I'm trying to look for his accomplishment and achievements in that position, and I cannot get. I think AU is not as consequential as the big ones like the EU and the World Bank per se, but rather the AU looks like a subsidiary who they have to react and respond to the big power. So to me, I think Raila Odinga will be here as a passive person to just rubber stamp issues without rather having to think on them. So it's a position to me which I don't think it will be very consequential for Africans, and I don't think it will also be consequential for Kenyans, because I have not seen very robust ideologies coming from AU. I've not heard their concept of doing mega projects, other than the few projects which I heard they wanted to do, like the Trans-African Highway and the Hinga Dam, which I think they will have to still borrow money from world actors, big world actors. So the problem and the challenge I have is AU has not shown a methodological concept to change Africa. There are so many things not functioning in Africa, and AU has not been born today. AU has over 20 years, and we don't seem to have this roadmap. Even when Mr. Raila Odinga was the ambassador in African Union, there are no tangibilities I can mention. Maybe occasionally you could have been carried, or you could have participated in some negotiations of some infrastructural projects in Russia, China, or US, but I have not seen something accomplished which was negotiated over the time. And to me, that's why I'm saying the African Union is a bit relaxed, and they don't seem to understand the dream for Africa. They don't seem to understand that we can build the next super country of the world in the future. Africa has capacity to be a world actor like India and China, because we rival each other on the amount of population we have. But we do not seem to understand our potential, and rather all our leaders have not been able to assemble on one accord and tell us that these are the things which we want to do. And I think AU can be able to engineer this change. So unless Mr. Raila Odinga is prepared for this challenge, we still we can still consider him as a consequential leader. If you get that position, it will be helpful to Africa, unless if he is a consequential leader. So, and that is something which he will have to prove. He participated in the changing of the Kenyan constitution. So I hope he is a consequential leader who will be able to instill positive drive in AU. I hope he will not be a silent actor and somebody who is working for the big powers for the manipulation of Africa. Because also that one is also something which is also very important. Because also the bigger powers could also be wanting a famous person, somebody who can be able to form coalitions of different nations. so that Africa can be manipulated for the next 50 years. So we should also not stop understanding that. So, in other words, what I'm trying to explain when I'm talking about this position, I'm explaining about a position which can actually change Africa if we rubber stamped and brought somebody who is incorruptible and somebody who has a vision. It's a position which can change Africa. But looking on what Musa Faki and all the other predecessors have done, the position seems not to carry the weight and the magnitude of work as we per se said. Unless if Odinga will show us that this position has a difference, this position can change Africa. Unless if Mr. Raila Odinga can show us that. But for now, this position has not proved itself. I hope Raila Odinga will be able to serve is a good term there. If he clinches it, he will have energy to serve people, and he will be able to bring a framework. Because there is like a shift. Many political actors who are getting seats are now the older generation. I think the younger people have like destroyed some things here and there. Donald Trump is an old guy in some other places. So I think now people want these old guys, I think, to read the next new reset in the next 10 years. There is that look. Joe Biden was there also, another old guy. So there is that issue. So Raila Odinga is qualified. He can do it. The only problem, which I don't know, is if he has the energy to do it for the next 4 or 5 years. Because, and again, if he still has the ambitions to come and want to become a consequential leader in Kenya, whereby he want to participate in the election, whether directly or indirectly, we don't know. There could be a possibility Raila Odinga, even if he clinches this seat, he could resign or retire early, maybe so that he can, because Raila is one of the person who wants short outcomes. He wants to make a consequence with the shortest time possible. And if within 2 or 3 years he feels that he has served the AU enough, he has no problem of quitting that position and wanting to come to Kenya so that he can also become a consequential leader. Because in Kenya, he has still not cemented his legacy as a consequential leader. Because the only way in which he could have been able to become a consequential leader was if he was able to become the president. But it's unfortunate he was not able to become the president. Mr. William Ruto has become Kenyan consequential leader in the wrong trajectory, even if he is a younger person, and even if he doesn't have much experience, because he is shaping our politics in another trajectory, somehow which is not good. And some of the things which are happening in his regime could affect us in the next 10 years or in the next generation to come. Those are the consequences which we always have in politics, whereby we say that somebody is consequential. Mr. Donald Trump in America is a consequential leader. Leaders who come with sweeping effects, which will affect one generation to the other. Those are the ones who we call consequential leaders. So Mr. Raila Odinga had not been able to drive that, because every time he was almost almost at the top to win the election, things evaporated. So he was not able to achieve that consequence in Kenyan politics. And maybe he could still feel, other than enabling Mr. Kibaki to become the president, he still was not able to have a direct impact, because the time when he also became the prime minister, he had not enough power to bring a consequence in Kenya. So there is a lot of deficiency in his art of politics, and he was not able to cement that through a presidency, because presidencies are consequential. So what I mean is that there is a lot in play here, and Raila Odinga could become the AU chairperson. He quits, goes to Kenya. He joins other actors who could maybe, or other anti-Ruto agents who could be interested in ousting him. And then he become part of that movement, which could now form the next generational ideology in Kenya. Those are issues which are also in play. Because we don't know if the relationship between Mr. William Ruto and Mr. Raila Odinga if it is as firm or as hard as it looks. They could be having underhand deals, including even having some generational deals, where maybe they could support people consecutively, but we don't know. But at the moment, as we speak, there is a lot in play here, and Raila Odinga is open to anything, including a position in AU and also coming to Kenya to form a consequence, especially in this wave whereby there is a lot of unrest in Kenya because people are not comfortable of how their nation is being driven. It's an issue. It's an issue by all. It's an issue by everybody, and we cannot bury our heads and say that Kenya is being driven well. There are so many deficiencies in our system today. There are so many problems which are happening, and they need to be rechecked so that our country can be able to return. There is a lot of poverty, no jobs, there's no money circulation. There are so many things not working well. And 2027 could become that consequential election, which will take us into a trajectory of actually stopping a presidency midway. It's something which can happen in Kenya now. Actually, we are on the verge of at a point whereby somebody can do one term because everything has gone wrong. So we are at that point whereby somebody can be unsat. Welcome. I can say I think I have like one or two people. Thank you very much for joining my channel as we try to discuss this heavy issue of the options which Mr. Raila Odinga is considering and how they may change the shape of Kenyan politics for the generations to come. So in a nutshell, what I mean here is that Raila Odinga for the next decade, 10 years, I think he still has an assignment of accomplishing some of the legacies which he was not able to fully accomplish them. Because some legacies which he has, they are halfway done. He was not able to turn them over, he was not able to turn the page properly. There are issues which he wanted to do. He wanted to become a consequential leader in Kenya. He wasn't. Now he wants to become the AU leader, where he feels he can also become a consequence leader there. I hope he becomes. I pray for him. I don't pray rather for people. He has shown commitment, despite the fact that he is being supported by Mr. William Ruto for that position. Somebody who I rose very much. I don't like his political action, but in terms of personality and in terms of pursuit of wanting this seat, I feel he should get it. But the problem which I have with him is that he should also not make East Africans or Kenyans not have somebody who can serve for a longer time, only that for him to retire or resign by 2027 to come and become a consequence leader in Kenya. I would not like that. If he wants to serve in this position, I would advise him to totally abandon Kenyan politics. He should not come. He purely go to AU and maybe serve a full term. For me, that one, I think he can be able now to specialize. And if he serves for a full term in this capacity as the AU chairperson, he could look for places whereby he can leave his consequence and become a consequential leader. To me, I think that one would be more better, other than wanting to hove and shove in two responsibilities, whereby maybe he could also want to become a consequential leader in Kenya. I think his days in Kenyan politics are gone, but he can turn a new page in AU and he become that consequential leader who will be able to help Africans as a whole apply his political skills, his networks now, because he has a lot of networks, so that we change our nations and our country for decades to come. So there is an opening here. There is something good here for Africans. With the same notion also, he has to cool down on underhill negotiations. We don't want a corrupt person. We don't want him to go and auction Africans. So he has to be somebody of goodwill and strong character. He has to be somebody of strong character, and he has to make sure that he will be standing in that position on behalf of 1.2 billion Africans. Because our aim and our target is to build a strong country in the next generation, in the next 50 years. Africa should be a player in big rig of world-changing economics. Africa has to be in that trajectory. And for that trajectory to be achieved, we have to start electing incorruptible people. I hope Raila Odinga is incorruptible. I hope, I don't know. Sometimes when they are receiving bribes, we are not sure. We don't know where they receive them. But I hope he has that strong character, the character of a strong man who can stand on behalf of 1.2 billion people and with strong values and principles. And they say that now I want to drive this continent. And I connect it with the dreams of its forefathers, and I connect it with the future generation for a strong economy and a strong infrastructure. So when he was the ambassador for infrastructure, I was not able to see something tangible. So I hope this one is also not another position which you want, so that now you can go and relax and we do not see any consequence. Mr. Raila Odinga, let me tell you, as somebody who is wishing you well, you need to know that this position is a consequential position, is a position with deliverables, is a position we want as Kenyans. One day we say, when Kenya produced a AU leader, he was able to achieve these objectives. You cannot afford to be like Musa Faki. You cannot afford to be like Zuma. We have not seen tangibilities, tangible things coming from that position. So there is a lot which you will have to do and reshape, character-wise, personality, and I hope you have that, because that one will actually propel you to the next phase of your politics, to the next phase of your life in in the remaining few years before you lose your energy, because you still have close to 5 years to serve in whichever capacity you want to serve. But you have to be steadfast, principled, moralful, and inclusive. So we have to serve everybody, Christians, Muslims, because Africa is diverse, multicultural. There is a lot, multi-ethnicity and multiracial. There's a lot which is happening. So Africa is all that. So we have to serve all. So this position will have to happen. Also, there is competition. We should also not forget that. So there's no 100% surety that Raila Odinga is still winning this thing. We have to keep praying for him. He has also to launch his. We now need also to, although for us, we are not, for us citizens, but I know he is now saying his manifesto. But I wish Mr. Raila Odinga can do a presser. He can like do something serious, a presser in Kenyan TV, and he explains his vision for the next 5 years for in the AU office. I want to hear his roadmap for this. I want to hear him. How is he going to make sure that Africa is talking about water for all, clean water for all? How is Africa talking about increasing our middle class? Because in Africa we don't have middle class. We have super rich and the poor. So how is he going to work on middle class? How is he going to work on infrastructure? We need to have inter-Africa connection highway. We need to see them, where highways are running from south to east, west to north. We need to see them. We need to see a serious inter-country highway happening, which is built at the same standards. We don't want to see a disconnected Africa. We want to hear him what he will be talking about immigration, how to solve crime, issues of terrorism. We need to. There is so much things which are plaguing, diseases, hunger. At times we have hunger in Africa, northern Kenya. Sometimes in Somalia there is hunger, lack of rain. There is a lot we need to handle. How do we use our resources? We need to hear him saying that. How is he going to negotiate? We have now. We need to renegotiate some of the trade deals we do with the people from the west or from the east. How are we going to make sure that and our farming? How are we how is he going to make sure that there is a way of protecting African farmers, protecting African miners? There is a lot. How do we protect slavery, especially Africans who are being taken from Africa to maybe Middle Eastern countries, whereby people are being enslaved? So there's a lot. So we need to hear him one by one, explaining his manifesto and handling those key objectives and those key issues which are plaguing Africa. Immigration, especially there, like people swimming through the Atlantic, or not Mediterranean Sea all the time. That is his problem now. He has to solve that. We cannot be having Africans all the time. People are swimming in the Mediterranean Sea. So there's a lot of objectives. So in a nutshell, he has to be methodological. He has to explain the issue. Let him serve a full term, and he should take a back seat of Kenyan politics. He should not start salivating when he now sees 2027 is here. He starts salivating, and now he starts saying, "Now, I think I need something here." Other than that, he can form a wonderful candidate if he applies the former principles which I knew he always used to have. But the Raila Odinga who is cooperating with Mr. William Ruto, he looks a bit feeble and not able to make very serious, robust decisions. I hope he will be able to remove himself out of Mr. Ruto arms, because I think by operating in Mr. Ruto arms, there's not much consequence we are looking at here. Other than that, African Union also needs to be reshaped because there are so many things which are not working right there. That is why we are not seeing African Union trying to negotiate some of the consequential issues which we want Olympics in Africa now, Mr. Odinga and Mr. Mohammed. We want Olympics in Africa. That is one of the game which has never been done in Africa. You people, you have to start negotiating that. Those are some of the things which bring business to people. So we need Olympics in Africa. World Cup came in Africa, and it will come again in 2030. We need multinationals operating in Africa, and we also need African companies also operating in the global world, both the south and the north. So there is a lot we need. Serious cooperation between the south and the north. Multinational arrangements and agreements. So there is a lot, Mr. Raila Odinga, you can handle. And you have to have a robust and a serious concept. You have to be incorruptible, good character, incorruptible, and a good man. And you serve Kenyans. Good. So I think other than that, I think I've finished my podcast now. I wish all the candidates who are vying for this position, I hope I was able to explain enough on our objectives and what we expect of all these candidates in Africa. So once again, I think the match of competition is between this Mohamud from Djibouti and Mr. Raila Odinga. It will be a fierce contest. It will be a close race. I can confirm that. And anyone could win. Hoping my countryman might win this time round. Not that because he's from my country, but because I think he can push himself to do something. I think he wants to build a legacy, and he can build a legacy in Africa as a whole. So till we meet another time, you can share my videos with other people in your networks. Let's meet again. Thank you. Keep subscribing my channel. Thank you.